Hey everybody, Dave here. I hope you're having an awesome day. So, thank you everybody. We are at over 3,000 subscribers now, so that is awesome. Keep them coming. If you like these videos, hit that like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It lets you know when I make new videos, and put a comment. All right, so about, I don't know, 2 years ago, I have a buddy who works at DC, and they were tossing these out. They were in a scrap bin. You can see the heads are busted off, and he was like, hey, do you want any of these? I was like, sure, why not? And then I was looking around in a bag of toys that I found at the thrift store. I got these for a couple bucks. There was a whole bunch in there, all the different figures. And I thought to myself, Fatman! So I want to make a Fatman, and I have a couple of fun little extra things that I want to try that I've never done before. So come on, let's do it. Alright, so this is going to be more than just a head swap. What I'd like to do is actually trim off the sleeves, sculpt out some gloves, possibly trim this off, sculpt out some boots, figure out how to put his belt on him. I want to figure out how to make a cape. I've actually never done a cape, and I've seen Cosplay Chris, he's done a cape with some wiring in it, so I think I want to try something like that. And then I got to figure out how to get the head on here. There is kind of this broken gap here, so I think I'm going to have to stuff this with aluminum foil and then sculpt out the bottom portion there. First things first, I need to get this in boiling hot water and see if I can get the head off and get the arms off and get this thing going. So let's do it. Alright, so Homer's been sitting in there for a couple minutes. I did use just another dish to kind of weigh him down. Now, this is like just through the school of hard knocks. If you've got two little towels or some rubber dish gloves or something, I recommend using something like that as you're pulling the body apart, because it will be hot, and I have scorched my hands before if you've seen any of my other videos. So now even this little guy is going to be hot. So let's pull that out, and I'm gonna, whew, that's hot. Hot. Come here. Okay, got that. Get this out of my way. Let's try and pull the head off here. Come here. It's pretty loose, so. Cool, that came right off. And then the arms. Come on, please come off. Cool, there's one arm. Arm doesn't want to come off. I am going to throw it back in there for just a second. Hot. There we go. Yes. Woohoo! Okay, get yourself a sharp blade and just trim these bad boys off here. Then I got some sandpaper, a little bit heavier grit, not too hard, and just sand that off. And then I love to sand it off with some wet sandpaper. Gives a nice smooth finish, and man, that looks pretty great. I'll do the same with the cuff down here. I'll just trim that off, and then I'll get some Magic Sculpt. I like to fold this about 30 times. I learned that from Jason Freeney. Now for the glove, I'm literally just rolling out a snake, putting it on here. The whole time I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, I have no clue what I'm doing. I hope this works. I'm literally just kind of blending it and smoothing it into the original hand and arm. And here I'm adding a couple of creases in the glove, just so it looks like it has a little bit of movement and action to it. I like to use water and my finger and sometimes a little paintbrush to help smooth things out, so that turned out pretty great. Here's my bag of scrap polystyrene. Made some little fins for the back glove, and so I'm just putting those in there right now just to put a placeholder. Now fill the head with aluminum foil, mainly because I just don't want to use a ton of Magic Sculpt to fill that entire head. So trim off the excess and smooth that down. You can see I'm using some water there, and it smooths out really nice. Now the Magic Sculpt is still, it's not dry yet, so I'm able to smash the magnet into there and get a nice indentation. And then I'll glue this other magnet onto the body, and that'll give me a really nice action point there. So Alright, for the boots, I'm kind of doing the same thing that I did with the gloves. Just roll a little snake there, and then I'll just blend those in. I'll do some sanding and get those nice and smooth, and that looks pretty great. I had some excess magic sculpt, so I'm making the little pouches for his little bandolier belt. And now it is time to glue these in. The magic sculpt is actually hard right now, and so I'm just gluing those into place there. Alright, a little bit of detail work. So this was yellow. I did do a couple coats of this, but it wasn't too bad. And I'm painting just a little yellow line around the waist, and that will be his belt, and then I can glue the little parts on. And then the blue, I totally lucked out and found this blue that matched the head exactly, so it turned out really nice. And again, just all the little details, paint that in. And then I did the same for the boots. Now I didn't sculpt his little super underpants, whatever they're called, but I did go ahead and paint those on, and I think it worked for this project just by hand painting them. And then just took a little Sharpie marker, outlined it. Now for the bat emblem, I kind of cheated a little bit. I didn't really cheat, but I used my vinyl cutter. I just made a little logo on the computer and cut that out, and that made it really nice and clean, and I think a nice result. I actually love this little vinyl cutter. Now the arms, the little peg was really big, and I was super concerned that I wasn't going to be able to get it in, and I fiddled with this for quite some time, even off camera, and I could not get that thing back in there. So I went ahead and just went with the old magnet route. So the holes were almost exactly the same. I did trim it out a tiny bit with an X-Acto knife, but this magnet just slipped right in. And so I'm just super gluing that on. And then here I'm just snipping off the peg, and I'm going to drill a little hole. Now I've pre-drilled, you can see on the table there I've got 3 other drill bits, so I kind of stage stepped it just so I didn't rip right through with one giant bit, but got myself a nice size hole there. It's perfect for the magnet. The magnet actually fit really snug. It slipped right in. Alright, time to glue the belt buckle on and the little pouches for his belt, his little utility pouches. Now these are actually on the upper portion of the body, so you'll see the legs still swivel and rotate, so that turned out pretty nice.
Alright, it is time to make a cape. So I went to my local craft store, and they had a blue fabric like this, but it was $12.99 a yard, and I don't need that much. I was thinking, well, even if I bought half a yard, that'd still be like $6.50. So I'm like, yeah. So I was hunting around, and I found this material, which I think is going to work fine. It's thin enough. I'm going to put some wire in this anyways to kind of shape it, and check that out. 33 cents. I got 2 just in case I mess one up. So let's start cutting this thing out and see if we can make a cape.
Okay, I'm by no means a pattern maker, so I'm really just doing my rough build here first, and I just kind of was winging it, bat winging it, and once I got kind of a rough shape built, I scanned that piece of fabric into the computer and made a little template, and then I printed it out. I put some little marks on the back there so that I could line this up. I taped it on at first, but then when I started cutting it, it actually just kind of fell right off, so whoops. So I ended up pinning it, and that worked a bit better. Cut out the pattern there, and it worked out pretty good. So then I'm taking some wire, and I'm kind of just framing it. And you can see there's some excess material that I had put on there. That way I could fold that over and hide the wire. Okay, so I want to make a McDonald's cup, so I'm just using some hot glue to actually just get the shape and form. I painted that up. put a little piece of polystyrene in there as a straw, and I think that turned out pretty cool. And it fits really nice in his hand. And of course, you gotta have your bag at McDonald's, so I'm making this little custom bag. Just laid that out on Illustrator, and I did find this template on Doodle Journey on YouTube. They got a really nice template to make a paper bag, and I just scaled mine down really small, so a little bit of an origami project, but not too bad. And we are about to wrap this thing up. Okay, that was a super fun build. I had a great time doing it. Just getting to make like the little miniature McDonald's bag, and kind of the humor of it to me is pretty fun. I love that kind of stuff. So I think if I did anything different, the cape, I think the fabric is a little tiny bit thick. I think it works, but maybe for another day I'll rework another cape and get to practice that a little bit more. So let's do some turnaround shots. And as always, it's a great day to be a toy nerd. Have a great one.